Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. What's going on, guys? Now, it's been a while since I said that because I really was making these commentary type of videos in LA. I was busy running around and getting footage and whatnot. But yeah, man, a great trip in LA. Met a lot of great people. Shout out to Travis Gotti Boxing for getting up with me after the fight. Rafael Calvo for making it out to the fight. Shout out to Gabe and his girlfriend for making it out to the fight. Shout out to Alex Sekback for all the love he showed me when I was there. Michael Baca for setting up the Sinisha Estrada interview and being a cool guy. Just everybody that I got to meet in LA. Shout out to all you guys. But this video right here is going to be my video, my final thoughts and my review. Because I didn't really do a review video, an official review video, following either one of the fights that happened that day between Gennady Golovkin and Kell Brook, and of course Roman Gonzalez versus Carlos Cuadras. So I'm going to start with Triple G versus Kell Brook. Now, Triple G versus Kell Brook, obviously, Kell Brook, huge underdog. He got stopped in the 5th round. But I think, first of all, he was very game. I think, when you watch that fight, you look at a guy like Kell Brook, you look at what he does, and he exploited the skills that he had. He exploited them in spots in that fight. I gave him 2 rounds. I had it 2-2 going into the 5th round. I think he did enough to win more than just the 2nd round. But in that 2nd round, especially, I think he did a great job of keeping the fight in the middle of the ring, using that jab, and then working the uppercut right after the jab. And it was a good fight. And obviously the UK fans, I watched the fight at the Forum. There were a lot of people there, media, fans, at the TV, watching the TV screen, glued to the TV screen, watching this fight, cheering for Triple G, and I was one of the very few people. And I know I made a video basically saying that Kell Brook had no chance, but I was still going for Kell Brook. I wanted to see him beat Triple G, and I wanted to see this. I wanted to see history. I wanted to see, because we haven't had a real upset in a big fight like in a while. So I wanted to see one, especially of that magnitude. He didn't do it, but I think he did. I think in that fight he gave himself a very great account of himself. Now the 5th round, yes, his trainer did throw in the towel, but look at the 1st round. He got hit with some real good shots in the 1st round. GGG had him out on his feet, had him in big trouble, and he was able to sustain that and make it to the 2nd round. And in the 2nd round he responds with the heart of a champion and gets the fight in the middle of the ring. They trade shots, and he was winning those exchanges. I know you guys are going to say, well, GGG does it every fight, with guys who don't have any punching power. We can watch. It doesn't matter. He won that exchange, and then I think it was round 3 or 4. He was landing some real good counter right hands, and hey, he get the stoppage. Obviously, he get the win. He got stopped, but I don't think if you're Kell Brook, there's no reason to hang your head. I mean, obviously you feel like you could have done better, but I still think he gave himself a great account of himself, and there's no shame in losing to Gennady Golovkin, being that you jumped 2 weight classes and fought a top 3 pound-for-pound fighter. So he got the big payday. I think even with the loss, his stock went up, not because, number one, the trainer throwing in the towel actually helped his stock going up because he didn't hit the canvas against GGG. He didn't get killed like Amir Khan did against Canelo. So with that being said, his stock goes up in my eyes and in the eyes of many. My only question for Kell would be, is he going to still campaign at 147? Because we saw in the weigh-ins leading up to this fight that he was actually heavier than Triple G. He was like 176 pounds, a month away from the fight. So, and he was killing himself to get to 147 anyway. So my thing is he going to kill himself to get back to 147? Is he going to go back down to that weight? And is he going to do it to go fight someone as higher risk and right now, currently, low reward as Earl Spence? I don't know. I made a video about the week before I left for LA. I made a video saying that I think Kell Brook is not coming back to welterweight, and I stand by it. I don't think he's going to come back to welterweight. I think if he is, he's going to have to have an easy fight because he just fought Triple G, got hurt real bad. So I would say just have a fight to get a win under your belt, and kind of just allow your body to settle back into the weight more comfortably, and then if you wanna, and then you gotta actually fight your mandatory, which is Earl Spence, and I want to see that fight. I think for me that's a huge fight at 147. Obviously, um, a lot of people are going to favor Earl, and I think even I would favor Earl, but I don't know, man. Kell Brook, I know he lost against GGG, but he really showed me some things in that fight, and if he can stand up to a guy like GGG, if he can stand up to the body punches in GGG, um, I don't know. That fight to me is more 50-50 than I even thought it was. So who knows, man? But for Golovkin, I mean, obviously we heard the rumors of him being sick. We heard the rumors of him, not being in the best condition for this fight. And I think it kind of showed in the ring if that was true, because there was no speed on his punches. The power was still there, but the speed wasn't quite there. And on top of that, just looked very sluggish. Looked very sluggish. And I told Travis Gotti this in the video that we made together. I said, I think since GGG has come to America, since a lot of Americans have been following him and stuff, that's probably the worst I've seen him look. Honestly, to God, and it was against the welterweight. So now you're getting a lot of guys like Canelo and Daniel Jacobs, or people who support these guys, saying that these guys beat GGG. Now, I still stand behind my stance. I still think Golovkin on the night would beat those guys, and pretty convincingly. Because number one, when we look at Daniel Jacobs, right? Daniel Jacobs, this is a guy whose chin is if I made a top 5 most suspect chins in boxing, Daniel Jacobs is easily in the top 5. We look at the Dimitri Prague fight when he just laid him out. He laid Jacobs flat out. All right, there's that fight there. Then you look at his first fight with Sergio Mora, where Mora is very light puncher, way past his prime, and he was able to drop Jacobs. So why wouldn't I think that GGG, a guy who is a great body puncher, who sets up his power punch really well, whose jab within itself will snap your head back and feel like a power punch, why wouldn't I think that he could do that to Jacobs? I mean, come on, let's use some common sense here. And then as far as Canelo, I think, obviously, if I don't think Canelo will beat him either. I still think that's a like 60-40 fight in favor of GGG, just because the boxing ability. I know a lot of people say he gets hit a lot, but Canelo's punches are very easy to evade. He does telegraph his punches a lot, and he is the kind of fighter that can get hit. So it is what it is, man. But I think as far as like people saying that this dude beat GGG and that dude beat GGG, I think GGG is just a guy that fights down or fights up to the levels of his competition, because that's what he's shown us so far. When we look at the David Lemieux fight, David Lemieux was, to me, probably the most game opponent he's fought. When you look at his fight against, who was it? I believe it was Glenn Tapia. Was it Glenn Tapia? Yeah, it was Glenn Tapia, right? Yeah, it's Glenn Tapia. He blasted Glenn Tapia out of there real fast, and I know who is Glenn Tapia. When we talk about Glenn Tapia, the guy who got stopped by James Kirkland. But Lemieux can beat the crap out of a lot of middleweights, and GGG went in there and made him look like a C-class, D-class fighter, and he did it mainly through his boxing, his jab, and his jab, like I said, is a power punch within itself, but he used it to box him around the ring and set up a lot of shots to get Lemieux out of there later in the fight. So I think he fights either down or up to the level of his opposition. So, for Kell Brook, he had no kept coming forward, and he was able to land on Kell Brook and cut that distance and really rip to the body and broke his damn eye socket, even on his worst night. So keep that in mind. I know a lot of people don't like GGG. I respect GGG, but I wouldn't say I'm the biggest fan of GGG. So that being said, GGG on his worst night, keep that in mind, still broke a dude's eye socket. That's the kind of fighter we're dealing with here. So that's the kind of guy we're dealing with. And I think in a Canelo fight, I still think he beats Canelo pretty soundly, stops him. Just really, I think he stops him. That's what it is. Canelo, to me, just doesn't have the skills, the tools to beat him. That's just my opinion on that fight. But if there was a fight time to make it, if you're Oscar De La Hoya, you think that fight would happen soon. So it should be made soon, based on perceived weakness we saw in the Kell Brook fight. So it is what it is. That's my overall take on that fight. GGG did what he had to do. I think in the process, Kell Brook's stock did go up, but it ultimately played out the way many of us thought it would. So great fight. Shout out to Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Boxing. To me, I think Eddie Hearn's the best promoter. He puts on the best, maybe not the best fights, but he's definitely putting on the best events as far as level of excitement and selling tickets and the crowd being into the fight. I mean, look at the crowd for that fight and look at how fast those tickets sold. So you got to give Eddie Hearn credit for putting together matchups that do sell, that are entertaining, and I think we're gonna see GG like Travis Gotti said in our video. I think GGG Eubank should be next. Hopefully it is next. I think that's a good fight for him. But yeah, that's that fight. Now the fight I really wanted to get to, because as you guys can see, I'm wearing the shirt. I know a lot of you guys had stuff to say. I'm gonna address that in this video. But you guys see the shirt, pound for pound champion Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. To me, he's exactly still just that, the pound for pound champion. Now, I did score this fight 9-3 in favor of Roman Gonzalez, and I know as I'm saying this, a lot of you guys are watching this video are saying, "Oh my God, Brennan's being biased. He's hopping on Roman Gonzalez's nuts once again." Now, let me tell you this. Carlos Cuadras, he put on a great performance. Carlos Cuadras, deserves a lot of credit for what he did that night because he was the first guy. McWilliams really proved that you can be durable against Roman Gonzalez, but Carlos Cuadras proved that he belonged in the ring of Roman that night. All these other guys, Arroyo, Valoria, a lot of these other guys, they're losing to Roman, and they're losing, soundly to Roman. So with that being said, I think Cuadras gave a very, very good account of himself, and I do think he has earned himself a rematch. So I am not against a rematch, but when it comes to this fight, right? When it comes to this fight, we had people in the YTBC, we had people in the boxing community, we had people who are just boxing fans on social media saying that Carlos Cuadras won this fight. Now, I was ringside for this fight, guys, and I could see a lot of things that maybe you guys couldn't see. And what I saw in that fight, I saw a guy in Cuadras who, yes, he was very much in the fight, but I saw a guy that was throwing a lot of combinations, and they were a lot of arm punches. They were, a lot of them weren't always landing. They were a lot of Roman. I would count. Roman would slip sometimes 5-6 punches in a row. Now later in the fight, he did do better work, and he was able to hit Roman in the face a lot more, which is why you saw, the pictures we're seeing now. But make no mistake about it, the first 6 rounds of this fight, Roman won at least easily 5 of them, easily, because the first round, was one of those typical, Roman Gonzalez type rounds where he kind of feels his opponent out, sees what his opponent is bringing to the table, and then it's like he made an adjustment, and from the 2nd round to the 6th, he won every round. Every round. Now, were they close? Definitely. Cuadras was game. Cuadras was matching Roman punch for punch, but the sharper puncher within those rounds, make no mistake about it, was the guy on my shirt, the pound-for-pound champion, Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. Now, Roman won 5 of his first 6 rounds, and I believe that he won at least, 2 more rounds after that. There's no way Cuadras shut him out the second half because there are at least 2 rounds that could. And here's why. And here's why Cuadras did win that fight, because I hear a lot of you guys saying, "Well, look at his face. He's not a pound-for-pound fighter. He's a guy that Mayweather never had a face like that." Well, no disrespect to Floyd Mayweather, but he never went up. He never went up in weight. Okay, he never went up in weight, and he never fought the champion in that division on an even playing field. Yes, he fought Canelo, but he fought Canelo in freaking Las Vegas, where we know that Floyd has every advantage in the world. Roman Gonzalez fought at the Forum, and yes, I know he's fought at the Forum on 2 other occasions, but Carlos Cuadras is Mexican. The half the crowd was Mexican, and like I said, the WBC is a Mexican organization, so there were some factors here that you think would have favored Carlos Cuadras, but that was not the case. So what I saw from Roman was a sharper puncher, and let me tell you this: this is a guy who is a smaller fighter, a significantly smaller fighter, and Roman Gonzalez in that fight, while Cuadras did land better shots in the second half of the fight and was able to make Roman's face swell up the way we saw it in the post-fight interviews and stuff, make no mistake about it, he was not able to back Roman up, and I've always said this. If you're going to be Roman Gonzalez, you're going to need to be able to back him up. And him being the bigger guy, with punching power, with speed, with footwork. He was not able to back Roman up consistently. And that's what I saw. That's what allowed me to give Roman most of those rounds. And that's what it was. It was, in fact, Roman, the guy who was about 2 to 3 inches shorter, or an inch shorter. I don't know I don't know what the height discrepancy is, but I know he's definitely the shorter fighter by, and it's by a significant amount because Cuadras is definitely the bigger man. Roman was the guy backing up Cuadras. Roman was the guy hitting Cuadras with 4, 5, 6 punch combinations, and that's why. And they were accurate, and Cuadras just wasn't able to really do what he needed to do, which was back him up. No fighter has done that successfully other than Juan Francisco Estrada. And even in the Estrada fight, Roman was the sharper puncher in that fight as well. So that's what it is, man. I know a lot of you guys who don't like Roman, who are praying for his downfall, who have been active on this channel. I mean, who don't want to see the guy lose so bad for anything. And that face, I know you guys saw that face. You just said, oh, he's not pound king. But how can you say that's not pound king? Because this guy just went up to a new weight class, 115. He took no tune-ups. He fought a guy who was significantly bigger than him, with punching power, with pound skills, with speed, with many title defenses, proven champion, with great attributes in his prime. And you mean to tell me that that's not worthy of being #1 in boxing? I mean, come on, man. I see right through the hate, man. I see right through it. Now, can the winner of Andre Ward and Kovalev be #2? No doubt about it, because Kovalev himself is #2, Ward is #2. But to be legitimately, not Adrian Brook, but legitimately a champion in a 4th weight class and beat, arguably, I don't think he's #1, but some people do consider Cuadras #1. You beat the #1 guy in the division. I mean, that's not to be taken lightly. And you know, I know Cuadras made a big deal after the fight. He walked up the ring, he cried like a baby. He didn't want to give Roman his title, which is understandable. You just lost the biggest fight of your career in a fight that, you know, if I'm Cuadras, I did good work in the second half. I think maybe I should have won the fight. But he lost the fight. I had 9-3. And while the rounds were competitive, Roman was winning them. So that's what it is, man. And look, he's gonna have a chance to do something really special because look, he has accomplished something very special. He did something that not even Alexis Arguello himself, a guy who was easily a top 50 fighter of all time, and that is, you know, win a title in a 4th weight class. So right now, I think with that win right there, I'm going to say it right now, with that win right there, Roman Gonzalez is going to the Boxing Hall of Fame. He's going to the Hall of Fame. And if you say otherwise, you're an idiot. Now, I'm going to say 2 things. And look, you guys might think these 2 things are very blasphemous, but I'm going to say both of them, and I'm going to give my points as to why I'm saying them in regards to Roman Gonzalez. Now, I'm going to start with #1. And the first thing I wanted to say was this. So the year right now is 2016. So I would say in this millennium, right? In this millennium, from 2000 to now, I think Roman Gonzalez is the best offensive fighter in boxing over the last 16 years. Now, I know we had Manny Pacquiao, and I know we had Roy Jones Jr. kind of towards the end of his career. I really don't even want to count Roy because we all know that really the best Roy Jones Jr. was like 99 in the 90s, really. So Roy kind of to me doesn't count. So really it's between Roman Gonzalez and Manny Pacquiao. And look, I'm a huge Manny Pacquiao fan. I think Manny Pacquiao is an all-time great. I think there's an argument to be made that Manny Pacquiao is a top 25 to 30 fighter of all time. But I think Roman Gonzalez is a better offensive fighter than Manny Pacquiao for a couple of reasons, and I'll list them right here. Roman is a better offensive fighter than Manny Pacquiao because, #1, when we watch Manny Pacquiao fight, we know that there are things. We know that he has a certain style. He gives you a lot of angles, and he's going to throw a lot of combinations. But Manny Pacquiao was never a great body puncher. Manny Pacquiao has a solid jab, but I wouldn't say his jab is like world class, nothing like that. And on top of that, Manny Pacquiao is a good counter puncher, but he's not necessarily a great counter puncher. He's just a guy that would overwhelm you with speed and combinations, and it's fun to watch. I think if you say Manny Pacquiao is the best offensive fighter over the last in this millennium of the 21st century, I think that there's nothing wrong with that. But to me, Roman Gonzalez is a better offensive fighter than Manny Pacquiao because he is more offensively versatile than Manny Pacquiao. First of all, he's a much better counterpuncher than Manny Pacquiao is. He's also, as far as activity-wise, he's matching Pacquiao in his prime punch output-wise. He's throwing upwards of 1,000 punches a fight. On top of that, he's like I said, better counterpuncher, and he rips the body a lot better than Manny Pacquiao, which is very big for me, and it's big for a lot of people who watch boxing because body punching is very important. It's what slows down your opponent and can stop your opponent from throwing many combinations, which is why I believe Roman Gonzalez has been able to control so many of his opponents because of his body punching ability, and it's what even was it was what was winning him all those rounds against Cuadras, is body punching. So there's that. I want to get that out there, and maybe I'll make a video further detailing that. But I think he's the best offensive fighter of the 21st century. I think he proved in the Cuadras fight doing it against a bigger guy. And another thing, I know. Hold on, before I go to the second one, I know a lot of you might say, well, Manny did that against bigger guys too. Well, that's very true. He did it against, for example, Margarito. He fought Margarito, who was a much bigger guy. But Margarito is a stationary target. He's a guy that's not hard for prime Pacquiao to hit. So it doesn't compare to a guy like Carlos Cuadras, who has great footwork, who has, just like Pacquiao, the ability to slip a punch and then turn the fighter and then unload with combinations himself. It's just different. So there's that. I think Roman is the best offensive fighter of the 21st century, for me at least. Second of all, now I know a lot of you out there who are gonna watch this video are gonna get really mad when I say this, but I'm gonna say it and I'm gonna explain this as well. Now, as you guys know, and I was at the fight, I saw Roman Gonzalez stand next to this guy, but Mariette, this is a guy that is an anomaly in boxing. This is a guy with 11 fights. This is a guy who has been a champion in 2 weight classes. This is a guy who's beaten name opposition. This is a guy who is looking like he could be one day pound for pound king level type of fighter. So with that being said, he is significantly bigger than Roman. I think he might even be as big, if not a little bit bigger than Cuadras, but he's definitely a better puncher than Cuadras. He's younger than Cuadras as well. So that being said, there's going to be a fight on the table, and I think Roman has earned the right to get at least one easy fight, because his last 4 fights between Edgar Sosa, Brian Valoria, Nick Williams Arroyo, and Carlos Cuadras, those are all named top-level guys at flyweight and 115. So I think he's earned the right to fight a Cam. But if he doesn't, then the most likely fight for him is it's probably gonna be Naya Inoue, and if not him, it'll probably be a rematch with either Cuadras or Estrada. But Naya Inoue, if Roman is able to beat him, because this is a guy who punches harder than Cuadras, who to me, stylistically speaking, possesses a lot more problems for Roman. If Roman beats this guy decisively, I'm gonna say it like this: if he beats him decisively, regardless whether he gets to 50-0 or not, I think he has definitely cemented. He has a better resume than Floyd Mayweather. And I know as I'm saying that, a lot of you guys are like, this guy doesn't know anything about boxing. Brendan is stupid. He's riding Roman Gonzalez again. Whatever. But let me tell you why that cements him being better than Floyd Mayweather. Because look, as I've said in my other videos, he beat the likes of Yutaka Nida, a guy who was the second best minimum weight fighter, only behind Ivan Calderon. Ivan Calderon is probably going to go to the Hall of Fame. I don't know about Hall of Fame, but Ivan Calderon was a pound-for-pound fight. Nida made a string of title defenses. Roman blasted him out of there and retired him at age 30 to win his first world title. So then there's Yutaka Nida. There was, after Nida, there was Akira Yagashi, who has beaten the likes of Edgar Sosa, who was also the lineal champion at flyweight. So you have him there. Edgar Sosa, who was a dominant champion, who made like 8 title defenses of his 112-pound title. Roman blasted him out of there in 2 rounds. Brian Valoria, a guy who beat Giovanni Segura. Giovanni Segura was in front of Andre Ward on the pound-for-pound list in the midst of the Super 6 hype. So Valoria knocked out TKO Valoria. Then he goes up in weight, and in my eyes, in the eyes of, I would say, half of the boxing world, he decisively beats Carlos Cuadras. Decisively beat him. Sharper puncher that night. and becomes the first Nicaraguan fighter to win a title in 4 weight classes. Historic, all-time great type of stuff. Um, that's a lot. That's a lot of stuff. But beating Inoue would represent another, A-level fighter. I don't want to say in this prime because I could say like a lot of you could say that he's still very green because he only has 11 fights. But I mean, this guy is an anomaly. This guy's beating. He knocked out Omar Narvaez in like 2 or 3 rounds, and Omar Narvaez was a guy who fought Nonito Donaire in his prime, and Donaire went life and death with Omar Narvaez. Okay, this dude blasted Narvaez out there like it was nothing. And Roman's gonna fight this guy. If he beats Inoue, you're looking at his resume like this. You're looking at Carlos Cuadras, a guy who was top 15 pound for pound caliber fighter. Roman, on the night Roman beat him, he was a proven champion with like 6 to 7 title defenses. Bigger guy, and he was in his prime. And you could argue he's a barely an A-level fighter, but if not A, he's definitely like a B plus. He's a very good fighter. After Cuadras, then you have Juan Francisco Estrada, a guy who definitely is an A-level fighter. Roman beat him. Roman beat him as well. He wants to become a unified champion, and he might just fight him again. So there might be a chance for Roman to continue to make history and beat him again. So he has that on his resume. Then you're talking about Naoya Inoue, a guy who beat some real good competition. Like I said, Omar Narvaez. He's won titles at 2 weight classes. He actually, I believe, he started his career, if I'm not mistaken, he started at 108 and jumped to 115 and beat the crap out of Narvaez in like his 8th pro fight or something like that. So if Roman beats Inoue, you're looking at not just Cuadras, but you're looking at Cuadras. Well, I'm gonna say Cuadras is A-level. I think he's A-level, just based off of his resume and who he's beat. Cuadras is A-level. Estrada's A-level. Inoue is definitely A-level. So you're talking about 3 guys that, if they wanted their primes, they're still, they're damn close to hitting their primes, and they're pound for pound level fighters. That's 3 prime guys who are bigger than him that Roman, had physical disadvantages against, and he went up and he beat him decisively. In all those fights, he happened to beat Inoue decisively. Floyd Mayweather, okay, no disrespect to him, but Floyd Mayweather, name me a guy who was A-level that he beat in their primes, because he sure as hell didn't beat Cotto or Pacquiao in their primes. He ducked Cotto in like, what was it, 2006 or 5 or I forget the year, but I know it was like the mid to early 2000s when he was supposed to fight Cotto. This was definitely in the mid to early 2000s because Mayweather was at 140. Cotto was also at 140. He was undefeated. He was running. He was one of the best fighters at 140. Everybody wanted to see that fight. And who did Mayweather decide to fight instead of Cotto? Oh, his damn sparring partner, Henry Brussels. That's who he wanted to fight. And so Cotto wasn't in his prime, and Cotto gave him a good fight when he was out of his prime. So he didn't fight Cotto in his prime. Okay. He sure as hell didn't fight Pacquiao in his prime. He ducked the hell out of Pacquiao in his prime. And then Canelo was green. I mean, you could say Canelo was only green. Canelo was green and super weight trained when Floyd fought him. So there was that. I mean, Diego Corrales was good, but he was a pound-for-pound fighter. So I guess you could say, if you wanted to say he did beat an A-level guy, you could say Diego Corrales, but he didn't really have a pound-for-pound skill set like that. So with that being said, man, he didn't beat an A-level fighter in their prime. And Roman's on the cusp of beating potentially 3. I mean, even if he doesn't beat Inoue and Inoue knocks him out, he still beat 1 on the Estrada, which is more than we can say for Floyd. So, look, you guys can hate if you want, but look, the dude never lost as an amateur, and I know you guys can say, who the hell was he fighting in Nicaragua? Listen, I really don't know, but he never lost as an amateur. And when he got to the pros, he hasn't lost as a pro. He's fought stiffer opposition than Floyd at the time he fought him. You guys might not know the names, but they were stiffer opposition than Floyd had to deal with. He fought them on either an even playing field, or he was going on the road to fight. So Roman Gonzalez has fought in Nicaragua, he's fought in Mexico, he's fought in Japan, he's fought in New York, and he's fought in LA. I mean, the only places Floyd really ever fought when he became that guy in boxing was Las Vegas. and he had every advantage in the world from the refs, the gloves, and you knew if Mayweather was going to a decision, it was going to be a decision for Mayweather. You know, the car would be for Mayweather. So he never had a deck stacked against him. He never fought anybody on an even playing field. So if Roman Gonzalez does beat Inoue, you know, I can make an argument now for Roman saying that I think his resume is better than Floyd's. But even but if he beats Inoue, I think it's cemented. Like it's not even an argument. It's not an argument. And look, any of you Flomos out there, any of you Floyd Mayweather channels out there that had the audacity or the balls to come on this channel and debate me on that, I will rip you to shreds. All right, I almost got into it after the fight with I don't want to say his name, but I'll just say he's one of Dante's disciples, and one of the guys who hangs around Dante all the time. I saw him after the fight. My boy Neil, shout out to Neil from Hoop Jab. He turned to me while we were waiting for Roy Jones to come talk to us, and he said that, like, you know, because the fight was close, Neil thought, you know, that fight wasn't worthy of pound for pound #1 status, which is his opinion. I respect it, but I disagree with him. He said, so Brennan, you know, November 19th, the winner of that fight between Ward and Kovalev will definitely be for pound for pound #1. So I look at Neil smiling, you know, I'm like, man, absolutely not. That fight is not for pound for pound #1. And the guy who turns around, and he's like, are you, like, in complete disgust, looks at me, and he says, like this is like, Roman can't be #1, like it's not a possibility. And he says that, you know, are you crazy? I'm like, nah, not after what I just saw. You just went in there and beat a bigger guy and was backing him up. Why would I say that? I mean, come on, man. A lot of you guys are just praying for Roman's downfall. And look, I'm going to take it a step further. If Floyd Mayweather was doing what Roman Gonzalez was doing right now, if he was doing what Roman Gonzalez is doing right now, you guys would say that, you know, he's the best fighter of all time. You guys some of you already call him the best fighter of all time, and he hasn't done what Roman Gonzalez has done. He hasn't fought bigger guys on an even playing field. He hasn't, you know, fought on the road in his, like, you know, when he was champion and, like, in his prime. I mean, come on, man. Let's call for what it is, man. Roman Gonzalez has proven himself to be pound for pound #1. And the only reason you guys don't think he's pound for pound #1, it's only for a handful of reasons. It's either #1, you don't know the small weight classes. That's what it is. Another channel that I ethered another video, I'm not going to say the name, but I ethered him in a video. He made a video recently basically saying, you know, oh, this gives credence to what I was saying. No, it doesn't give credence to what you're saying because Roman won that fight decisively. So you either don't know the small weight classes, that's #1. And look, I don't like to get into the subject of race, but this is just what it is. You either don't know the small weight classes, or it's because he's not black. All right, that's what it is. A lot of you channels out there, and I'm not one for race baiting or anything like that, but look, you guys don't give credit to no fighters that aren't black. You guys don't make videos about fighters who aren't black unless, you know, they're negative. You know, you make a video about Kovalev or Golovkin to say that Kell Brook exposed them, or you make a video about Roman Gonzalez saying that, oh, well, he lost fight because his face is swelled up. Like, come on, man. Come on, man. Let's just call it for what it is. You guys you guys are afraid because deep down in your hearts you know that not only is Roman Gonzalez a good fighter, and not only is he a great fighter, but he is going to go down as an all-time great fighter. And even if he loses a fight coming up soon, there's no shame in it because the guy he's going to lose to is going to go to the Hall of Fame. Roman Gonzalez is so good that whoever does take that over from him is definitely going to the Hall of Fame. So whether it's Estrada, Cuadras, or Inoue, they are going to the Hall of Fame. And whoever Roman loses is a pound-for-pound level fighter. Okay? So, I mean, it is what it is. Floyd, a lot of you like to justify Floyd's resume and say, well, he had tough fights with the likes of Henry Brussels and DeMarcus Corley, and, oh, the Emmanuel Augustus fight was so tough for Floyd. He was a tough journeyman. Like, come on, man. Roman don't struggle with no journeyman. Roman has never struggled with a journeyman. The only guys he struggles with are A-level pound-for-pound caliber fighters. Okay? He never had no DeMarcus Corley, Emmanuel Augustus level fighters giving him problems. Okay? And as long as you know he's fighting in boxing to where his faculties are in check and he's still pretty good physically, it's not gonna happen. Okay? So, you know, just want to get that out there, man. So a lot of you guys need to stop praying for the downfall of Roman Gonzalez. The Roman Empire will continue. I think he's going to beat Inoue. I think that's a 50-50 fight. I could see Inoue beating him. in delivering the type of performance that would make him a star. But I also could see Roman Gonzalez cementing himself on that night as one of the top 20 greatest fighters to ever live, if he beats Inoue in spectacular fashion. So that's what it is, man. All you guys hated on Roman for the whole Carlos Cuadras fight. I thought he went 9-3. He was a sharper puncher. He backed Cuadras up a lot more than Cuadras was able to do to him. And when they were in the middle of the ring, Roman had a lot of success in the middle of the ring trading punches with him. So that's what it is. You guys can give me your thoughts. Great. First of all, great. It was an electric atmosphere. Shout out to Tom Loeffler, K2 Promotions, Tekken Promotions, Golden Boy, the Forum, LA Fight Fans, Nicaraguans, Mexicans, Gonzalez, Cuadras. Shout out to Sinisa Estrada. Shout out to just everybody in the car. Kamagai, Soto Cross. That was a good fight. It was just a great week of fights, man. And regardless of these people trying to discredit what was a really good win for Roman Gonzalez, the type of win that cemented his Hall of Fame status. Despite all that, still a great week of fights, and it was still a good performance by him. So that's what it is, man. You guys let me know what you think. Especially about the things I said about him being the best offensive fighter of the 21st century, and him being annoyed, that cements his resume as better than Floyd Mayweather. So yeah, you guys can leave your comments down below. Take the time to subscribe. You can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dane. Until next time, take care, guys.